Sorry, I forgot to push record. And just let that deeper breath through the lower part of your shoulder blades just be a invitation to relax in through the body, deeply into those blades. You don't need to do anything but relax deeply backwards and into letting the body hold you. And let your shoulders roll back and drop down. Notice any tensions you're holding in the front part of your chest. Around the shoulders or neck. I invite you to let your awareness drop and drop down to the very floor, basement, to the ground, that lowest ground you can find inside yourself. Really just drop to feel yourself in this place. Let your breath have some attention and bring it deeply down with you. Rising with the inhalation and dropping down into that floor again with the exhale. And see if you can bring the very seat of your breath down to that floor. invite you to breathe the sensation of that deep flow into your whole body. Your lungs and your chest, your belly, your shoulders and back, heart and throat, and your head. Your arms and hips. Release and return to be in your very body. And just feel that presence of yourself, the naturally moving breath, feeling and sensation. Feeling your skin and muscle rest on your bones. Just for the last couple of minutes of this meditation, invite it bring your awareness to your breath and just feel and follow that breath as it's naturally moved by nature. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes and return to our mutual space. Hmm. Hmm. Welcome back. I'm thinking we just take just a 4-minute break to go and get the cup filled. And then I invite you to just shake your body a little bit before we go on to conversation. See you in 5. Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Hope you got yourself a cup. Just sitting here dipping my tea bag. Mhm. So, yeah. So the space is open. When you would like to engage, you simply use the raise hand function that you find in that black beam under my head at the moment. In under somewhere. Maybe reactions? Yes, in under reactions, there's a raise hand function there. Yeah. What does it mean to you to come in and really rest on that floor in your body? For many people, it feels very raw, like almost unbearable to some. But it really is only a matter of practice and letting gravity take you to your deepest resting place. And it obviously calls forth a lot of healing. But it really is only a matter of time before you are deeply accustomed to resting deeply in yourself like that. And it will no longer be anything unbearable about it. Mm. Mm. Hi, Gianni.
Hi, Prima. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this.
Mm.
Mm. You know, this big purging that's been going through this body, I don't even know what to call it. I wanted to just check in and almost like dock in with you
Mm.
because there's a spaciousness in the head at the moment where literally the old model of thinking has, as I can't find, nothing is working. Um, And I don't know if that's just, it's not just that, you know, I've been very ill, but it literally felt like I fell through the ground and out the other side in my body. And there's this, it feels like this field of intelligence that's here that has nothing to do with thought. It's just here. It's somehow here. And then, but there's a little bit of confusion and fear that arises in that as I kind of feel this in this backwards and forth with like it literally felt like it fell out overnight. And I must admit I feel a little bit loopy. um and I just want to make sure that I'm not missing something here, or that this is there is a you know that there is that this is just something to be surrendered to and trusted.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Integration takes time, love. And the things can be stripped away in your letting go, but then to reintegrate as and learning a new way of moving is called for. Yeah. Yeah. And inside that, it's simply the most important thing is to remember that you don't know and to let that intelligence work itself in terms of plugging that in. Mhm. So that it lands as a deep
Mm.
rest in the body as well. Through the body, yes, very well, all good. But for everything to come together in the body anyway, through the body.
Mm.
Anyway. Yeah. Mm.
Do you have any pointers or guidance or assistance with this it's this like this experience in the head that just feels it feels very it's not fuzzy, it's just very big. It's non-localized
Mhm.
and it's a little disorientating, like almost moving in that. Like and I've had these kind of perceptual shifts before. Um but this one has been quite a significant one, and I get I guess it's just falling into the ground, right? I don't
Well, the emptiness of
know.
the head, again, there's the being side of your perception and your
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Then there's the integration of that into and in through your head as well.
Okay.
No? And
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So on the expansion side of things, it's experience as just vast, wide open space. On the integration side of things, that flips into the brain and becomes, it's almost like, polishing a diamond. So it gets more and more and more clear. The clarity, and then in the whole integration with all the rest, it's the clarity, but then continuous to sharpen all, sorry, to soften that which is sharp, So it's not just, it's clarity without sharpness. You understand?
Totally.
Mm,
That feels like that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And again, also that also takes time, and you are gonna find yourself in these places sometimes where it's like you are in between an expansion and an integration.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Everything will come together.
Thank you.
Mhm. Pleasure.
There's a lot it triggers some fear,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Using the body
Mm.
is a good thing,
Mm.
and so is focusing the mind.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm. Mm.
And that's something usually that everyday life brings forth. The need to be able to move with precision
Mm.
and care.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Ah, that feels nice. So taking that and moving that in that way
Mhm.
and use it. Yeah. Yeah.
Expansion
Thanks.
is wonderful, but it is our job to let that expansion do the job of integrating itself so that we become, as hollowed out through this vessel as we do as we expand as being, so we
Mm.
can go just as clearly like this as we can like this.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
And to do it by
Thank
will,
you.
by the way, to move by will, whether we want the expansion or we want the centering. Yeah? Is my
I
internet
lost you there. Yeah,
uh,
your internet cut out a little bit there. I lost you there.
okay? I'm back, right?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
back now.
Good. Mm. So in case it wasn't heard, I said it is something with by will, being able to move yourself to the expansion. There's basically no one there, and move yourself into the centering as well. To be able to move in on all of the layers of yourself, basically.
Mm.
Mhm.
I just haven't felt a center. I've
No.
just felt this. I haven't. It's been quite tricky to feel that center point again. Feels like that's gone.
Yeah.
So there's just been, since there's more vitality in this body, just sitting in nature and just sitting at a tree on the earth, barefoot next to a stream. Just that's the and just being there, just being in that, and just opening, and feeling. And somehow there it feels like something is solidifying in that, because the actual that center point that I used to that felt I can't find that right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you will gain the flexibility to be able to move.
Okay.
But don't worry. When it's expansion time, it's expansion time. Just enjoy that. And just respond to life in a way. Don't try to avoid getting activated into needing to do things, or don't
No, yeah.
postpone things or something to stay
Okay.
just let life move, because
Okay.
when it's time to call you back, you will find your way to center, but you center even more, the manifestation of yeah.
But it's an impersonal centering rather than this idea of somebody being in a center. It's just a function that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love to you.
Thank you. This is great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm. Mhm. Mm. Quite interesting. This I'm in Germany at the moment, and discovering just so much magic everywhere in that connection with nature. This house that we are staying in here is an old house. You can see like the old beams everywhere. And it's right next to the forest. So walking out of the front door, it's like 20 meters to the right, and then there's forest. And to walk off in that forest and listen to the soil and the trees, being surrounded by these little furry animals. By the way, I have the dogs here with me, the ones that live with me at Nari. Just a lot of beauty happening. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi.
Pam.
Hey,
It's nice to see you again.
to see you. Mm.
And I feel like that this meditation also really felt really good.
Mm.
I've had this half year has been so much going on that, and like growing a lot on the outside, but I've kind of taken a step back. In it feels like I've gone a step back in my development or so, because I recognize that my head is starting to feed me with all these negative thoughts that I know so well. And then I'm a bit like disappointed, actually. Yeah. It's like yeah, it feels a little bit sad that it's like it doesn't let go. Yeah.
Yeah. Negativity is a funny thing. Not funny, but you know what I mean. It really is something we need to let go of. But to be able to let go of it, we need to locate it inside of our system, you know. Otherwise, we're just seeing the output from it over and over. And to truly let go of negativity, we need to search towards the root of it. You see, if it's just spitting out this output, there's something there which is lost. You know, there's a deeper connection and a deeper touch with yourself. Lost. But instead of disappointment, or what the word was, maybe you just see it as an invitation, you know, to let yourself be led towards life once again, deeper in touch with yourself. And why forget why you are here, you know, because it's so easy to be caught up in that which is going on out there. And I think maybe when we are allowing ourselves to listen to the real need inside, and to listen to what we actually feel like, because we, from a driving place of developing things or creating things or earning money or, you know, this, that, or the other thing, we can be very caught up in that, and then the body's kind of just moseying along with that. But there's a beauty lost in that also somehow. It's satisfying for some part, but it's not like the most important part. It's not that part that really ignites our soul and our, you know, deep sense of freedom and being. It's when we are really letting that be the center of everything else that we're moving, that there's a chance for us to live a life where, in a way, everything comes together, and also where we don't move faster than that. We have ourselves with us all the time in what we're doing. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I haven't really had the capacity to focus as I usually do in my meditations. It's been like very noisy, and usually I meditate mostly on my breath, but I haven't really gotten into it. It's so much going on in the head and like so much emotions. So I've gone kind of back to my old way of meditating with this mantra word, but yeah, it's like I'm like a little bit to and from here and there, and
it sounds a little scattered, love.
yeah.
I think that it's actually important that you start being aware that to be able to live a life in connection, you also need to be willing to be with all parts of yourself. Because when something is setting off into busy, it's because there is something in your system which is trying to avoid relaxing and actually feeling what's here. Negativity is coming out. It's very likely that it's not something very pleasant. It might be something very uncomfortable to face, and yet we need to do it, you know? Yeah. And if you focus on a mantra, I mean, often that mantra is there as some kind of, you know, the idea of it, I guess, is something like it's there to kind of take the place of whatever else is going on. But if your system is stressed by something that's going on inside of you, so it creates a lot of thoughts, and, well, in my experience at least, your deeper relaxation, and learning to actually relax with those parts that right now are sending you straight into thinking, and even like negative thinking. So really, I would invite you to befriend starting to work consciously with the darker sides of yourself. And it's simply with becoming loving enough to be able to be present with that in yourself. So these things can pass without it becoming, like a noisy system, basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then also thoughts about my mother and my relationship with my mother is coming up. Like how she has imprinted me kind of in her way of thinking of herself. And this was just a realization I had maybe 2 years ago, and I was feeling calm. I had a kind of a overlook in how I was reacting, how other people was interacting, and I could see that her self-consciousness was, or that she was talking down herself.
Mhm.
I realized that, wow, she has probably always been doing that, and it has been, yeah, imprinted in me some kind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you receive these patterns, but it simply means that, you've taken it from somewhere else. You just need to let it go. You just need to basically let go of your mother in your system. But you can only do that by fully embracing it. You need to be truly kind towards, as long as there is anything about your mother that you are fighting in yourself, that's going to stand there as some kind of pressure point. So to be able to truly let go of, one thing is wanting to let go of, another thing is, are you wanting to let go? Can you do that from a kind place and out of love for yourself, or are you doing it to get rid of something? There are two different angles to that, and to truly let something go, well, it requires like I almost want to say a forgiveness of yourself in that, and of her in that. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, maybe the whole this process is also good to come closer to each other in a
Absolutely.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, parents are a great place to feel and taste where you've gotten in yourself, in terms of these patterns that are arising between parent and child, usually. The extent to which the parent still has power over, as in where the child has not yet brought home his or her full and own self. These things are really good to witness in connection with parents, and also because there's something much more rich possible. There's a true connection possible. But for that, the relationship itself needs to go through a transformation, where you basically stop taking the shape of a daughter around them and you stay yourself, and thereby setting them free to stop acting like your parent and actually become themselves. So it becomes souls meeting, and the beauty of that, of true connection instead of patterns. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize what you're saying. And yeah, I know situations where that has been happening. Yeah.
There's really a strength to bring home there, also because however a parent is imprinting their child is also happening with some sense of in some ways there are manipulation involved, and this manipulation basically needs to be like rooted out from the connection, so it's truly, you know, each in his or her own self-love and sharing love from a deeper self-rest, basically. Yeah. Than the shifting of responsibility and things like this. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I feel lighter with your answer.
Be able to truly unravel that family sphere requires some ancestral work. And that simply means to truly touch those aspects of yourself where you are the result of a ball rolling down a hill, where you've received patterns, which has been received, which then has been received, you know, like this kind of just things being created without anyone consciously involved. And to start actually taking responsibility for the manifestation of your own being in this existence, and thereby also sorting that away, which has no place in you anymore, you know?
Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah, I feel like hopeful for, yeah.
Go for it. Yeah. Thanks, love.
Thank you.
Hello to Lila.
Hello.
Hey, you.
Just give me some minutes. There's coming a lot of stuff.
Good.
Since our meeting in November, or was it October? I don't know anymore. I've been processing a lot of grief, pain, and things that were related to the back of my body, backside. And there's been a lot of working through, also liberation. And in the last weeks, I very strongly feel the front part of my, it's like chest up the face. And while you were talking to Elisa, I felt like it must have something to do with shame or speaking out or showing myself. There's something, I feel like I'm not fully present in my face, and there's something drawing back, and maybe we can look at it together.
Mm. Mm. Well, there's really a need for us to deliver every part of the body. And we draw back as consciousness in many ways and for many reasons. But that part of truly coming has a lot to do also with throwing the mask, you know, the protection that comes with it. And to dare to be naked here, just something that really calls us to dare to be seen in our vulnerability and in our innocence also. The way to do that is really to feel like with everything else, when you rest into, it sets free. It doesn't mean to lean out through your face. It means to really rest into your eyeballs, to rest into your cheeks, and your nose, lips, and chin. Come alive.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, the teeth also call for attention. Tongue and teeth.
Yeah. This is something you want to work with over the coming time, love.
Mm. Oh.
Mm.
Mm.
Well done with the work on the back, by the way.
Mm.
Send you so much love. Enjoy the work.
Thank you.
Thank you, love. Oops. Sorry, Marsha. You can just unmute yourself.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
What?
Mm.
I can't hear very much. I don't know if it's just me.
There's something with the sound in the room that.
Oh, yes, just a second. Yeah, excuse me. It's like the air, not air conditioning, but something like. Yeah. Okay, hi.
How are you doing?
Uh, yeah, I was just trying to stay up so that I can attend this hot thing. So it's later here.
What time is it there?
It's almost 1 in at night. No, but I'm glad to stay up and join.
Nice. That's good to see you again. Mm. How is it going with relaxing into the body?
So. Seems like in certain ways it's going well, and in other ways I feel like there could definitely be layers that I'm not accessing, or that I just it's like I have an intuition that there could be this relaxation that's just potentially around the corner, maybe, but it's like, where is this actually? You know?
Mm. Mm. Softening of your mind.
That's kind of difficult.
Mm.
It's been a lot of how would I call it, like frustration with this, or just like not being able, and so on.
Mm. Softening the mind, if you do that with your heart, it turns out to be like a growing kindness towards yourself, you know, or towards everything, actually.
Isn't with if I do it with my heart, like the mind with the heart? That's what you said.
Yeah, it's something like softening the mind is basically the same as embracing the ground, you know, and becoming kind. To develop kindness is a very rare thing, for one thing, but it's also it's a challenge. And especially when we start talking about, well, expansion at the same time. But it's deeply needed as well, because otherwise the gift that we are getting, they are not landing in a very good place, you know. So there's something with a growing up, basically. We grow up by growing down. So the deeper that we descend in through the body, the more we're basically growing up. And if we don't descend through the body, then there will be parts that are very, very young and not reaching maturation. Because the consciousness reaching those places, that's what causes the maturation. Now, to be able to do that, we need to be really kind with these different parts. And that is something with learning real self-love. And it's, by the way, also the only way for us to return to innocence, really. Because otherwise, innocence can only be a blocking out of power rather than a relaxation down through it, you know, so that we land in the magic of it all, basically. Mm-hmm. How long has it been since we were at Nari?
I don't know. I thought that 2 years, but I'm not sure if that's true.
3 years, something like this. Yeah. Hi from Matthias.
Okay. Please tell him also.
So what is evolving at the moment?
Well, one nice thing was that I started working more as in like practical with money and with practical things. So that's kind of what appeared, and this was nice and is nice and enjoyable and fun. Another thing is, like I told you, I started like sharing and basically like teaching people, which is very, I guess it's raw, or I don't know how to best relate to it in every way, or what's even going on there in certain ways and so on. And then it's, yeah, just being here, I guess.
You guess.
Yes, being here.
Mm. You are in India right now, right?
Mhm.
How long?
2 weeks, a little more, I think. Mhm.
You know, the conversation I just had before about this with grounding the expansion into just deep
Mhm. Yeah.
breath.
Mhm.
Seems to me like that's what you are also taking a bite and a bite and a bite of, and needing to take a bite and a bite of.
Well, that doesn't like stop the expansion, does it? If I have to sort of comment like this.
But the very fact that you ask me that means that there's something there which is fighting against that integration out of fear that the expansion will stop.
Oh. Mm.
Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
To say I have not yet experienced either. Centering allows for a translation through the body and a real showing up. And the expansion is just endless, right? But it's important to turn that wheel sometimes or flip that coin, because you will want to be as integrated as you are expanded. Otherwise, the basic challenges of being you will never be touched.
When you're saying about flipping the coin, is there like even like a practical way that you would do it, or that I could do it, or is it just like I don't know.
The coin, I wanna exchange that word or assign that word to intention.
Okay.
You see, the moment that you are afraid of integrating because you are afraid that it will stop your expansion, then you're operating according to an old piece of software which isn't there anymore. when your being started expanding, it's kind of like a ball rolling down a hill. It can't stop. But you have to move towards integrating what it is that's rolling down that hill. And that's an intention thing. So you need to set your intention, accordingly. Because without doing that, if you let yourself expand and expand without actually truly integrating that, then that's a fear-based movement. And it's going to, there are some severe points that are not developing in you then. And it becomes spiritual bypassing, basically. Yeah.
Yes, one thing that I don't know if it's exactly got to do with it or not. Is that I've been like wanting to write, which could be like, I don't know if this is also this, but I've been wanting to write, but finding myself very unable and not being good at it, and not being able to go through with it very well. Yeah.
Well, writing is as anything else. It's a skill. If you want to be able to write as yourself, then you basically need to face and stand face to face with everything in you which has a different expression than yourself. Right? That's a given in a way. To become a true expression of yourself, you need to keep writing. And it's a brilliant thing because, well, you write and you rewrite and you keep writing until the real thing comes out. And that can be hard. It doesn't matter if it's hard. Because if this is something that you would like to learn to master, then you need to keep writing until all of the noise is out of the equation. And every time you see that you are not to the point, then you're going to sink a layer deeper. And write and write and write. Yeah. These, when I write, it's basically scriptural transmission. But that has taken me like 20 years. And it's like every time I write, I'm better at it. Simply because the transmission and the being keeps on being stronger. So when I'm writing, now it's become something like I can dance. It's like steps, I can dance in the intensity of the writing. So I deliberately move up steps to write something that's meaningful enough that people can perceive it and they can translate it where they are, but where they don't choke on the depth in it, But that's something, even if it's the same words, that it's coming with from such a deep place, can be incredibly hard for the system to read when it is a scriptural transmission. It's just like when you read these words or these writings from, philosophers, from whatever, like where you're reading something and it's freaking hard because it's like you can only understand what you're reading if you're willing to surrender to the depth of the being who wrote it, basically. It's yourself, of course, but the gift in it is that it's written with such depth. So if you would like to learn to master writing, then you need to write and write and write. And it's like every time that you see that you are writing, in a way, writing nonsense. That's what we're doing. Not to the point, right? We're writing and what's actually coming out. It's like, right? Writing, 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 and continue to write and see what you're writing. Because actually it's like something's going on here. And when you write it, it comes out on the paper and you see it's not accurate. And then you say, I'm not good at it. But that's not really the point. It's not about good at it or not good at it. It's about going through the process of seeing what you're writing, realizing and accepting that that's not real, and then letting the whole platform of that kind of move out of the way, write again, see, it's clearer. It's still not that, that kind of movement. It's a purification simply. That happens through writing. And it's really something with learning to tune the inner ear according to the voice of your being and your thinking and your eyes. The whole thing is wanting a rewiring. And this is where you are challenged, because a part of you in your head is needing that softening and a letting go. Because there's like an intention, not now I use intention. There's like an intensity field in your brain, and it's waiting to integrate. It's waiting to relax. And as long as you're basically clinging to that at the same time, because you get a different experience of yourself than you do when you relax down into yourself. So on one hand, you can't write as long as you're clinging to that thing, and at the same time, you can't. You need to, the moment you let go of that intensity in your head, then you are going to sink down into your body, and you're going to meet all of those parts of you which you are basically afraid of, because you're afraid of getting stuck with them. So there's a need for some softening through the head, and an inclusion of the body, and a growing up by growing down, as I said. Yeah. And then writing, obviously. Because also it really isn't about how complex can you write. It's not about complexity. It's actually about simplicity. How much of the real essence can you transmit in writing incredibly simple? You can also take it the complexity way, but then, it will just be, anyone's head will go, if I if I write like that, it's just like, the sentences are like this. But you can also move opposite, but it doesn't mean that the transmission of it is lost. It can be said in a very grounded, very readable way, where it touches, not just only touches people. It's like any key, when I'm speaking that, and that's coming as a transmission, it's like it's so crystal clear because it's landed down through the body. So that the clarity that it comes with can only come if you've integrated it yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, but it's very interesting. Yeah. Mhm. It's a purification that's needed. Mhm.
That would be a big freedom, I think, to be able to write.
Yeah. You have to not give up. If that's something that you need to do, then you need to do it, and you need to keep doing it. And you don't give up just because it doesn't come out the way you want it. Or draw this, I'm not very good at this card. It's not good enough, Marshall. You can do better than that. Yeah. The beauty of it is that once we have really gone the full way with anything that we can feel we need to learn, and we come into mastery. Once we've touched that mastery, we're basically touching that ground where God can speak through. And once we have done that in one place, we can basically translate that to any other place. Quite interesting. Mhm. If we can let go of the identity. Mhm. Have anything else at the moment?
Second.
Is there anything else at the moment? Thanks. Love. Hmm. Mm. I'm making these very interesting discoveries of that whole field of innocence at the moment and how much of a prerequisite that return to innocence is for us to be able to dance in the magic of all of this and to be really bathed in the gratitude of how crazy wonderful this life is, simply in all of its possibilities and our full self-responsibility and our just that the gifts are actually right there to be picked like fruits of a damn tree. I mean, seriously. Gosh. And that it's simply ours for the taking of that life, which is ours, and which only requires us to return into that humble relationship with nature and a really loving relationship with nature. It's so wild. Yeah. Return that beauty of everything we are offered in connection with ourselves, just in that deepest relaxation and into union with nature, like how much wisdom and magic is just right there. Gosh. Hello, Michael.
Hey,
Mm,
good to see you.
yeah, you too. Are you still in Portugal? No, not Portugal, Costa Rica.
Oh, we came back like last night.
Ah, welcome home.
Thank you. Yeah, a change of seasons from winter to summer, from summer back to winter. Yeah.
Mm. Was it a fruitful trip? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, it was. It was. First of all, the life is very giving and very alive there in an extreme way, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, just like a lot of beautiful meetings and practical things and like a weaving of practicality and connections and intimacy, and it's like a lot of that, you know.
Sounds like a wonderful flow.
Yeah.
Nice. Is it a different flow than where you are living?
Yeah, well, definitely because it's the peak of the summer season there, you know, and it's everybody's out and there's a lot of movement and tourism, and it's like in here it's like we're just like kind of in the cave now
Yeah.
of the winter time here, where it's like the low season. There's not many, only the local people are here, and it's um, but it's kind of like it's like a part of a teaching that I'm going through now. What was happening also in Costa Rica, because it was like essentially like a
Mm.
business trip, you know, starting trying to kind of activate a way of income from there.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of lessons coming in as like you know, money as a teacher, as a reflection, you know,
Mhm.
of the beauty, and also like the shadow kind of, or I don't know if it's a shadow, but there's like a like the part that needs to be like purified or seen, or
Mhm.
so I'm in the midst of that, and I felt like the inspiration I got there from many people is there was like a lot of people that it's doing like really big things in the material world, you know, like businesses and hospitals and projects, and it felt to me, at least from meeting them, that there's a lot of like connection of like inner values and money and work, and I felt like there's like within me like there's something that wants to have the same kind of alignment, you know, and there's like of this kind of where it's not separate things anymore. Okay, there's where I make my money, and then this has this kind of rules, and this is where my values are, and it's all trying to
Mm.
kind of, you know, align, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Integrate all the parts in one
Mm.
living life, consciously chosen, consciously lived. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Mm. It feels a bit like new in a sense, kind of. It's like it's not new, but it's new for the system, you know.
Mhm.
And to kind of learning like those alignments, and also seeing where it's not aligned, where it's like this, you know, fear and protection, and maybe even, I don't know if it's greediness, but this kind of drive, and you know, just like trying to get there already so you can relax, and you know, this kind of stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. I mean, there's really something to be said for that part of letting joy really lead the way when it comes to work, you know, and love um of the creation that you're in, basically. Because to the extent where, okay, I really want to love what I do, but I also need to make money, you know, like it's just it's really beautiful when it all becomes one integrated thing, and where you basically let your deepest joy lead the way in terms of what also becomes a money flow, and whether that's big or small or whatever it is, but you know that there is creativity in play, and the joy of that creativity as well. Invites for a kind of mastery also, doesn't it? Like something like being a player on the, not like in any kind of negative sense, but like being someone who plays with existence enough that small and big actually turns out to be the same. And that whatever seems big ends up feeling small when you kind of, you know, really wrap yourself around it. But that's not something you can do unless you really find that stream of what you really enjoy and what you really burn for, in a way, you know, where the passion is in you. Mm-hmm. Do you have a feeling where that is?
Well, now there's like few different directions happening at the same time, you know, so
Which is also great, by the way.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And And some of them is like, you know, the offering of the sessions, and this is where I don't put the focus on money, but some money comes from there, like not but the other ones that are a bit more material, there's also like a lot of passion there of kind of developing this business that can create, like, it's a beautiful place. I had like felt like a strong connection to the place, you know, where it's gonna happen, and the people that are involved. Uh, There's a different kind of passion moving there, you know. It's like a different energy, but it's like also there. It's, you know, and some of the work is here with helping people like find houses and stuff, which also surprisingly started to kind of mm, moving from like, I'm not sure if it's the right thing, but kind of okay. It's also like kind of fun, you know.
Mm.
Um,
But that's super wonderful. I mean, I also like to play like a full piano, you know, like having all of these different lines, and then basic is only a matter of like waking up in the morning and like, which line do I want to play on now today, you know? As long as you don't get trapped in you know, like stretching over more than you can actually be fully present with, then it's wonderful.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. What I'm noticing is that like on the project side, there's like kind of a doubt of the possibility that actually like what I want to manifest there is possible, and from the doubt comes like strategies of the mind of trying to push things and to hurry things, and I have to always kind of to, you know, come back, because like it's something that never happened in my life as a kind of proof, or this can actually happen that way, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's interesting.
It's super interesting. The thing is that there are so many, I mean, look at this existence. It's crazy, you know. There are so many ways, there are so many angles to take. There are so many ways to learn within each, and the more you set your mind free within any area, the more possibility it also becomes filled with. So it's like, you know, simply meet all of those ways in which your mind basically limits you from playing. Yeah, in the end of the day, you know, there is no limit. And that's exactly the point, you know. We're just kind of finding that out, everybody. Yeah. And then you can maybe say, okay, well, what can we use that for? You know, it's not really, for one, the part of being set free from the mind's limitations makes you more free. And then there's the part of it which is, okay, but when you do have a certain amount of freedom, it also comes with a certain amount of power. And with that, you can induce change. You know, change in this world that's waiting to happen for the better in whatever direction we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. Let's play. Wonderful. Mhm. 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 It's funny, you know, to be able to find angles of existence where you can still be inspired and see that you can still learn. That's super cool. I'm kind of there now where it's like, okay, it almost feels like I can only do more of the same or bigger of the same. And to take that angle now straight into that uncovering with nature, that's where I get super inspired now, really. Because that's kind of like playing on totally on her playing field, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting. And then also the fact of uncovering just the amount of magic that we get to uncover there. It's funny, you know, I never used to use that word, but it's almost like I'm just severely blinded by the wonder of what that play in passion with nature, what that actually is bringing forth. You know, it's like, and more than anything, it's actually me. You know, it's me that's becoming able to see the magic in everything that she's creating here. And yeah, while I would say a lot of other manifestation, it can be created and created even to a certain, you know, precision and things like this. And there can be a certain satisfaction in that, definitely. But in that co-creation with nature, it's really, wow, it's really something else. It's really something else. It has such a center of like beauty of existence at its core. That is very wonderful and valuable. Yeah. I'm considering at the moment to start making some videos, probably, and see if I can, in that play of creativity, if somehow with recordings I can display that magic that is experienced here. If I can catch that on camera in a way where it's feelable as a watcher of that on the other end, that would be that's really interesting. Yeah, I would love it if I could share that way. So at the moment I started studying to take, you know, a drone certificate, and and yeah, just like getting the different kinds of equipment kind of in place. So let's see what's possible. Yeah, again, pure play, literally. Yeah. And to really make room for that play, there's just like major sweep right now of cleaning up everything from past, you know, in the field of the work, and really like uh, the whole teaching getting really structured and just cleaning up gateway, cleaning up, you know, all of these, and just remaking designs, and just so everything is a new expression of the current potential. And it's yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's also totally wonderful to get that really settled. It's almost like I've been like squirting keys out for 22 years now, and now it's all getting organized, so it gets like proper possibility of approaching, so people know like, okay, when this is what they need, then that's where they go, and this is what, you know, like, yeah, very delightful. And I have a feeling like when I've really done that, then I'm really like, then I really get to play with the whole nature thing. Yeah. Mm. It's wonderful to be with you. Mm. And I really do look forward to see the translation of this experience into arts, like a video like that. It will literally be a piece of art. I will look very much forward to share through arts as well. Teaching will not stop, but I'm traveling now, and there will be like once a month in addition to the calls and stuff online. But the rest of the time, it's just really play with that, like with the expression of it. And that's different because in the past it was really focused on the teaching. And it's so beautiful, and it's so complete in itself also now. So when it really gets expressed in terms of presented as the completion that it is in itself, then there just is so much room for play as well. Yeah. Mm. Mm. And then I'm getting a cow. On the 1st of May, I think. Yeah. A Highlander cow. She's super cute. Mm. So it's gonna be milking, and it's gonna be making cheese, and it's gonna be making butter, and it's gonna be not it as in like, but that's what it's gonna be for me, I'm not gonna make the butter and stuff. So that's just like another area of a lot of play and potential and creativity and like making products to sell out at Nari, and yeah. Fun. More fun. And what wonder, now that we are talking about it, the magic of a cow. I mean, I've never considered a cow as anything much other than, I never really went into a union with a cow before. I've always experienced when I met them on the field that I ended up singing to them, and I didn't really know why. What was the deal? But always when I'm passing cows, somehow I end up singing to them and they kind of flock around. But now I'm kind of like my eyes going like in through the whole thing. The thing is actually like just like a horse is a manifestation of the strength of heart. A cow is the manifestation of the nurture of the feminine. And that's incredible. I mean, it's just overflowing with the abundance of nurture. And it's such a feminine consciousness. It's so kind. I mean, they don't even have teeth, there's just no bite in it. It's just so kind somehow. And yeah, I look forward to unite with a cow consciousness. if I no, okay, I'm not gonna say that out loud. Yeah, but if I end up speaking cow trees, then you will know why. Yeah, but they are super sweet. And I was passing down here the other day, and there were cows there, and I went out and I just went in, and again I ended up singing to them, and then they are just like up like this. They are just standing around. And the thing is that when you sing to a cow, they open into their receptivity, and then the air is just filled with that nurture, with just so much softness and so much love. In that way, it's just, yeah, wow, I cannot wait. And I also cannot wait to share it with you when you drop by Nari at some point. And you can say hi to her. Her name is Maya, by the way. Yeah. Mhm. It would be wonderful to hear what inspires you these days, if you feel like sharing. Mm,
Yeah, I thought I could share.
wonderful.
Right now I'm actually building a home
Oh,
with my boyfriend,
wow.
and in 4 months I will be there full time, and I'm looking so much forward to it. Like just to be able to be at one place and care for everything that's there.
Yeah.
For our cat, which is when I'm going back and forth from school to my home, he gets a little bit like, if I'm gone for 3 weeks, he doesn't really recognize me, like, or he seems very um yeah, he don't want to come and cuddle. And then a week passes by, and then he's like, yeah, okay, I can come and cuddle.
He's just pissed at you. He remembers, trust me. He's just pissed at you for disappearing. Mm,
Yeah, but I'm so happy that we have a new place, which is turning beautiful.
Mm.
And when spring comes, I will take care of plants, which has just been dropping dead because I've been too much back and forth.
yeah.
And yeah,
Are you
just being a
building this place? Is it actual building? Is it renovation? Is it, what is
Well,
it?
it's several housing in one. So we have been just building out, making it larger.
Okay, nice.
So
Yeah. Has it been a long project? How long have you been on that?
yeah, 6 months, and it's been so much like problems with the building firm.
Mm.
It's taken a lot of our capacity. So yeah, and a lot of money just went out the window because yeah, that's how it is.
I'm a
But
deep
now,
building myself, so I can only thank myself if I have a problem with the firm.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, really happy to and looking forward to that. And I just came from there today, and I feel just rested, and yeah, it's been some really good days.
Lovely.
Mm.
Mm.
It's like I've been wanting to root for a while. Yeah,
It
like
also explains what's coming to you, in terms of this with the deepening and the embrace of the darker sides, you know, that falling down into the ground really reveals and unveils everything that
Mm.
that we actually don't want to see about ourselves also. There's really an invitation there. But I mean, if you have a space, a beautiful space to yourself like that, then yeah, it's a great gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just feeling very thankful for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Our relationship is just evolving in this beautiful way, where I think like the last really bump was in February last year, and I just had to let go of expectations of any future together and see what was there actually. And yeah, that took some time, but it's been really growing in a beautiful place. More honest, and more present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Hmm.
Mm.
Evolving relationship. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that the possibility of unbuttoning and intimacy and a harmony together is in my experience one of the most beautiful things we can evolve into, you know, and learn also, because there's a lot of learning in it also, in terms of this, at least what you say with letting go of expectation, you know, that we're not forcing ourselves on it, but more like kind of arriving inside of it with really open hands and gratitude for what's there, and willingness really to be present with whatever arises inside
Mm.
of. Yeah.
And I have to say also that in this process he has grown a lot. He has come into a new stage where he has been kind of baffled of getting rid of some loneliness that he was fighting, and expecting less from, like, yeah, I think he had this great expectations of the world and what he wanted to do, and then he kind of just like, I have no expectations, no, just living, just being grateful for being. And that's, and also connecting so much with the nature and the world, it feels like. Yeah, so we're now growing closer in this way.
Beautiful. Mm.
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
Thank
Thank you for letting us share. Mhm.
Mm. Mm. I hear you. Mm. Hello, Jill.
Lovely.
Hey.
It was taking me a million years on my phone to find the right button. I was like, where is it? I can't find it.
Hey, you.
Hi. I enjoyed your sweet sharing about the cows
Yeah.
or the cow. Because my mum always had a cow when we were kids. So it's kind of like a ritual for her
Nice.
in the morning, in the evening. It's her, yeah, tending to another necessity of life.
Mm.
And like, so she would smell of cow because her head would be against its belly as she was milking and stuff. She was really like at one with the cow, like face in the cow's belly sort of thing. And yeah, it's sweet. Brought back lots of memories of sitting watching her and trying to like milk the cow, but it's quite difficult. I mean, you'll master it, I'm sure. But yeah, as a kid, you just think it's pulling, but there's a whole kind of like massage thing going on there.
Yeah.
So
A whole
sweet.
suck mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of what I've been enjoying, I kind of from December till last week been drawing out and painting one of the the Durga Yantra, so the geometric version of her, and all this like precision and straight lines and like using a compass for the first time since I was a kid.
Wow.
All the kind of like circles and paint brushes and paints, and yeah, it has been a really beautiful process that's still kind of alive in me, and just the precision of finding the right colors and contrasts between the different petals and these minute angles where you're kind of like going in and your eyes are almost, I don't know, they're almost dissolving through the canvas because there's such a tiny corner. And then to sort of take a breath and kind of go, oh wow, like there's a lot of energy in the process. But really, really nice.
How big is it?
I can just grab it. It's here actually.
Oh, nice.
Not massive. First attempt, so.
Oh, wow. Oh, beautiful.
She's
Well done.
delicious.
Well done. Yeah.
And it's like going to sleep seeing orange triangles in my eye. It was kind of taking over my eyes, the shapes and things. It felt like a real merger.
What inspired this? Where did that come from?
Well, like Do you know what? I have a teacher who's like really into the Hindu goddesses, and her husband paints. So he's painted like 1 meter by 1 meter sized yantras for their home studio. It's been there for years. And then like I enjoy the mantras and things, and I just was feeling, I don't know, I can't remember the moment that I went. I think actually I was shopping and I saw the image and I was like, I'm going to buy it. It's £150 or something. I'm going to buy it. And then something just went, no, you're going to draw it. You're going to create it. And I was like, oh, okay, right, fine. I'm going to create it, not going to buy it.
Materials over there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just some really easy videos to follow along with on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, super sweet process. Yeah.
So it's finished now.
I just have a little bit of white to fill in the center. So like around triangles, they're not painted yet. So I need to paint them white just to make them pop a little bit more. But yeah, she's pretty much finished. Nice to share.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
What else is floating? Yes, just like still bearing witness to where I am in this relationship connection. Hasn't been feeling totally easy. Like trying to discern if I'm giving it space to let things happen or if I'm stalling on something I already know.
What's the binding point?
What's the what?
What's the stagnant aspect? What is it that's stuck? What is it that's not in that flow of continuous growth together? Or
Yeah, I think we're kind of resisting each other somehow. And I guess it would be good for me to see my role in it more clearly. Yeah. I've noticed I'm quite, I can have quite a sharp analytical mind, which serves me well in places, but when it comes to the relational field, it seems to be kind of like, it just doesn't work there at all. And I'm like, oh, I see exactly what's going on with him. And then I'm like, oh, it's just not a pleasant feeling to try and get involved in unpacking it that way. But
no, there's a sharpness to that, right? There's almost like a critical distance rather than a real showing up in love in a way.
Yeah, I think we've both got probably some fear to sink into and feel to the bottom of.
I mean, to grow together in love, it really is something like we can be however good at analyzing, but in terms of actually dealing with what arises in a relational field, that's only something you can do from feeling. The what it is, the how it works, is actually not very valuable. It's valuable in terms of navigation, but it's not really valuable in terms of handling or dealing with anything. That really comes with that agreement to deeply feel and to actually dare to be vulnerable, and to somehow get ourselves to a place where we have worn down all of our objections to feel what is present in the space, even without the distinction of separation. Oh, that's yours, this is mine, like all of this stuff. That there's actually just that presence of feeling there, because that's actually the presence of the feminine. And well, hello, Jill. Yeah. It's easy to take the masculine stance on things, but it's actually a self-protective mechanism. And it doesn't really give room for the love to grow, or for the learning that happens through feeling our way through things. Yeah, tough though.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Like I've been feeling the texture of that, like mind setting off and just like mistrusting it more than I used to just act on that.
Yeah, exactly. But that just means you're more ready, you know. It's like it can't keep having a hold over you and how you're if you're actually asking the right questions to yourself, you know, and like, why am I doing that, you know, and like, I don't want to do that, and pulling back from that. And but the thing is that the moment you start making that movement, you have to actually answer with the other side of that equation, which is, why am I doing that automatically? And it's actually because you are avoiding something else, because it's being used as self-protection. So the moment that you don't protect yourself anymore, what are you left with? Something which we all fear, like a lot: vulnerability. Because in that vulnerability, it's like, as long as we lean towards the mistrust, we get this, you know? But the moment that we lean towards the trust, things slide through quicker. So to move ourselves from distrust to trust, you know, that's the deal. That's the real challenge in a way. And simply because in the trust there is full relaxation, there's full willingness to feel, and there's no need to push some things away, and you know, like that whole that's no it's not really valuable in a loving connection, actually. While the more that we can, all of us, be present with whatever arises without having to shut off or shut down or push away or reject, or you know, all of those movements that we make, because that's actually just a reflection of our own lack of capacity, in a way, to truly be present with something, to truly let something just pass instead of get hung up on it because we don't want to feel it, you know, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like some work to do in dropping into that.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. This is the kind of work that we really like to do here.
Juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Go.
It's just something with like actually regaining your freedom, you know, because the mind and the masculine aspect of the analysis and all of this. I mean, when you come from like blind, then all of a sudden being able to see and the analyzing mind can seem like a gift, right? It's some kind of freedom from the captivity, at least. But from there, because evolution wants to keep on going, you know, then the mind's analysis becomes a trap, because the moment that you don't know how to shut it off, then you don't know how to. I mean, it's a great tool. It's a gift you've been given, but now, you know, it wants to keep on evolving. So you kind of need to take that gift and put it in your pocket, something like this. Yeah. I mean, you can always take it up because it's a great tool. It's great for certain circumstances, but it's not always great. And it's definitely not great when it's coming in as a barrier in relating. Yeah. So congratulations. It's good to hear that it's starting to.
Yeah. Yes.
Starting to crack.
Mm.
Mm.
Cracks are good.
That's when water comes rushing in.
Nice, nice. And yeah, I should hopefully see you in April when you're in Glastonbury.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I look
Because
forward.
I'm just up the road. I'm just like 30 minutes away.
Oh, great. Oh, that's nice.
Great.
Yeah. Mm,
Thank you.
that's nice. I look forward to that.
Yay.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Hmm. Mm. I look so much forward to share the coming expressions of this inspiration and this joy with you. I hope you have enjoyed the evening. We are just on our last couple of minutes here. And I suggest that we just sit in silence for a couple of minutes. I wish you endless amounts of softness and so much love in your life. And I really hope that you can give yourself that and find the strength in you to choose the life that makes it possible for you to live your best life. Stay in love, good people. I will see you another time. Ciao.